The dance. Our life experience is a dance of whirling, twirling, and dipping in consciousness. We are high-stepping, twisting, and waltzing our way to blissfulness. The dance of life is a dance we get to choose. We can dance in infinite possibilities and win, or dance in lack and limitation and lose. We miss a lot of living when we dance with our past. And trying to dance in the future is a life that will not last. Oh my, which dance do I dance? Spirit, where do I begin? The answer was made very clear. Follow the intuitive wisdom of the mystic within. What is a mystic? Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, describes a mystic this way: one who has intimate first-hand acquaintance with God. A man/woman, don't shoot the reader, I didn't write this. A man/woman of prayer. Jesus was the greatest mystic of all ages. Who in the room, be honest now, you're in church, and I know if you're not, who in this room has had a first-hand acquaintance or experience of God? Who in this room is a man or woman of prayer? Outstanding, we're done, you're all mystics. Little did you know that I have more to say. But the truth is, we are all mystics. And it's the mystic within. The mystic within has an intuitive wisdom. It's the same wisdom as the 12 powers of man that our co-founder Charles Fillmore writes about, the 12 faculties of man, the 12 powers of man that each and every one of us has. It's the pattern of perfection within us. And Charles Fillmore says that the disciple that is the representative of wisdom is James, son of Zebedee. I think it's Zebedee. And wisdom is located in the body, in the solar plexus. Do you ever have a gut feeling? A gut feeling, you just knew, but you couldn't describe it. You kind of knew, but you didn't know. That's that intuitive wisdom. Sometimes you might have, it might have said, don't cross the street. Or it might have said, cross the street. That gut feeling, that's the intuitive wisdom from the mystic that is within each and every one of us. The mystic within. The intuitive wisdom begets spiritual understanding. Now, spiritual understanding is the understanding of all things godlike, all things divine, all things spiritual. Not all things of the world. That's a different understanding. But spiritual understanding is all things godlike. Spiritual understanding now begets discernment. And discernment is our ability to choose righteously or to make right choices. The intuitive wisdom in us from the mystic within sees beyond what appears to be to the truth that is behind it. It sees beyond the appearance of dis-ease to the truth of health and wholeness. The intuitive wisdom of the mystic within sees beyond lack to the truth of abundant prosperity. The intuitive wisdom of the mystic within sees beyond limitation to the realm of infinite possibilities. The intuitive wisdom of the mystic within sees beyond conflict to peace. And the intuitive wisdom of the mystic within sees beyond hate and knows only love. It is this intuitive wisdom that we call forth to give us spiritual understanding, then give us the discernment to make the right choices. The mystics live in the here and now. I gave up. I missed so much living because I was trying to figure out the past. Why did I do that? What happened? Oh, it happened to me in the past. What? Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I missed living because I was trying to figure out that. And then when I couldn't figure that out, and I said, by golly, I'm going to figure out the future. I'm going to figure out what is yet to be. Yeah, I'm a pretty smart fella. Yeah, I'm going to figure out tomorrow. Well, you know what? Tomorrow doesn't become relevant until it becomes today. And both of these things, the past, everything in my past, everything in your past, had to be done so that, you know what? You and I got to be right here, right now. And the future, what is yet to be? Again, tomorrow don't matter until it becomes today, or right here, right now. Folks, we're meant to live in the here and now. The mystic in you is desiring that for you. That's where the abundant life is. Not in the past, not trying to figure out the future, but right here, right now. When we live in the now, we are bringing forth heaven on earth. We are experiencing our joy of living where all of our dreams come true and our desires are fulfilled. It's the abundant life that we have been promised to live when we call forth the mystic within and live in the here and the now. To make this abundantly clear, let's play Spiritual Jeopardy. Wait for it. I love the drum. Well, welcome to Spiritual Jeopardy, boys and girls. I am Rex Quebec, your host. As it is with each and every Spiritual Jeopardy, we have 5 categories this evening, and the categories are prayer, the now, love, wisdom, and desire. Let's see. Ralph, would you be our first contestant? The first contestant can pick from any one of the 5 categories.
Oh, Rex, I'll take prayer for 500.
Outstanding, poet. The answer is, we experience this when we are in prayer.
What is the mystic within?
Outstanding! Fabulous. John, you get to choose from the remaining categories, the now, love, wisdom, or desire.
Wow, why, thanks, Rex Quebec. I would like to choose desire.
Ooh.
For 500.
Outstanding. Go big or go home. The answer is, this desires an intimate relationship with God. What's the question?
What is the mystic within?
Okay, what I'm looking for is some congregation participation. What's the question?
What is the mystic within?
Outstanding. Oh, lovely lady. You are contestant number 3. You get to choose from, I forgot, the now, love, or wisdom. I was kind of hoping you'd get desire because I can only imagine. But
You've been watching.
just saying, I know everything.
Okay, I'll take the now.
The now for? Go big or go home.
5.
Outstanding. The answer is, expressing this, we live in the now. What's the question?
What is the mystic within?
Outstanding. Oh, contestant number 4. You get to choose between love and wisdom.
Absolutely love.
For what? Go big or go home.
500.
Outstanding. The answer is, when we love God, we are this. And the question is?
What is the mystic within?
Oh, sir, I know you're waiting to be the last and final contestant of the evening. You get to choose from... Thank you for helping me out, because I had a concussion moment just then. You get to choose from wisdom. Now, go big or go home. Outstanding. And the answer is, through prayer, this manifests intuitive wisdom. Folks, with some enthusiasm. What's the question?
What is the mystic within?
Outstanding. We have this now cemented in your subconscious that you are a mystic. The mystic dwells within you, and it is right now, in this very moment, itching its way to come out to be expressed. So don't be alarmed if you get that little itch. Just let it come out and be you. Scripture speaks about mystics in many ways, and one of my favorite scriptures is the first epistle of Paul the Apostle. Boy, I practiced that, and hopefully I didn't offend anybody. It is chapter 5, verses 16 through 20. It reads, "Be joyful always, pray without ceasing. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Jesus Christ concerning you and me. Do not," I repeat, "do not quench the Spirit." The mystic within us is always joyful. It's experiencing the kingdom of heaven right here and now because the mystic in us is living right now. It's always joyful. Pray without ceasing. Well, of course, the mystic prays without ceasing to receive intuitive wisdom, to gain spiritual understanding, to gain discernment, to make what? Right choices, to live in the what? Outstanding. You're paying attention. Fabulous. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Jesus Christ concerning you. Of course the mystic would give thanks. He's living in the now present moment, has everything he desires, his dreams are coming true, her dreams are coming true. Of course he would be grateful. And this is concerning you and me. This is about you and me. And do not quench the Spirit. Folks, do not. I repeat, do not quench the spirit of the mystic. It is yours to express. It is yours to live in the now. Do not quench the Spirit. Charles Fillmore, again, our co-founder, defines mysticism as being the practice of the presence of God, the life of prayer that results in intuitive wisdom and experience of God. He mentioned in his first quote that he believes that Jesus was the greatest mystic of all time. And I would say that's okay, sure, I'd agree with that. However, my favorite mystic is Brother Lawrence. Many of you may know Brother Lawrence. He was a 16th century Carmelite monk. He was born in Belgium into an extremely poor family, was poor all of his life. He was kind of short and wide, like me. A little timid, well, not so much like me. But he had very little education, very little formal education. And he talked a little odd, like me. But what he was brilliant. And he wasn't aware of that yet. He knew the mystic in him. And in his young adulthood, the thing was you got drafted into the army and you went fight. You went fought wars. And he went dutifully. And he got captured. Well, he escaped to fight again, right? He gets captured again. Well, after a little bit, they let him go. Now, why was that? Why would someone let someone go? I think they saw in him the mystic. They saw this kind man. He probably helped everybody out. And they said, it's not right just to keep them as a prisoner. So they let him go. Well, of course, he's overjoyed at being released. And he decides, I'm going to live a life of God. Yep, I'm going to live a life of God. So he goes up to the Carmelite monastery and he knocks on the door of the monastery's human services department and asks for an application. He fills it out and gets an interview. Well, they see him. They see what he looks like. Short, kind of wide, talks funny, not very smart, at least in appearance. Talks slow. But yet they see beyond that. And they give him a job. Now, he was hired as the lowest of the low. We're talking entry level minus about 10 floors. He was the assistant to the monk, who was an assistant to another monk, who was the assistant to somebody else. He was very, very entry level. So they gave him all of the menial jobs to do. He washed the floors. He cleaned the toilets. He washed all the pots and pans. It's a pretty good-sized monastery. And then he would repair everybody else's shoes. Now, you would think, or I would think, no, we would think, that doing these kinds of jobs would be kind of crummy. Wouldn't like it much. Probably would even do a little complaining and moaning. Not Brother Lawrence. He did these strange and meaningless jobs with great joy. Be joyful always. He did them with great joy because he was doing them for the love of God. This was his common time. This was his common union. This was his communion time with God as he knew God to be. Now, he didn't do any more or any less of the formal prayer time with every other monk in the monastery. But when he was doing his jobs, everything he did with the love of God. Everything. He had this presence about him. And all of the higher-ups in the monastery they were astounded. How can this guy, how can this man do these jobs and be joyful? Because he did them for the love of God. And his presence went outside the monastery. So all of the other higher-ups in religion and in kingdoms, the priests, the kings, the princes, everybody came to be in the presence of this man, this common man who did everything for the love of God. He stepped into the mystic in him and fully expressed it. He's my way shower as far as mystics is concerned. And he comes to me quite often, as a matter of fact, in more than in just dreams and visions. He actually shows up and he puts his hand on my shoulder. And I feel his hand on my shoulder. Then there's a moment or two of silence. I know what's coming. And he'll say, boy, boy, boy. Now, how he says, the tone at which he says, boy, 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 lets me know that I'm either practicing the presence of God or I'm practicing the presence of Leavitt. How many times have we practiced the presence of humanness and it was a mess? But how many times have we practiced the presence of God and have it be beyond description wonderful? Brother Lawrence did everything for the love of God. Everything. He set the example for all of us. He's my way shower. He also has a great quote that I think kind of sums it all up as far as that is concerned. He said, the most excellent method of going to God is that of doing our common business without any view of pleasing men and purely for the love of God. He wasn't there saying, hey, look at me. I'm the short, fat guy that doesn't have much education. No. He went about his common business purely for the love of God. That was his communion with God as he knew God to be. Brother Lawrence showed us the way. We can do it too. And you know, it only takes one to show the way. It only takes one. One of you, maybe. Maybe two of you. Because what happens when one shows us the way, you know what happens? One becomes two, two becomes three. Three becomes this entire room. Begins to live in the now moment. Begins to practice the presence of God. Experiences the kingdom of heaven right now. The joy of living right now. Having all of your desires are fulfilled and your dreams come true. It's the abundant life that we have been promised to live when we live in the here and now from the mystic within. It only takes one to show the way. I love technology. I'm a bookaholic, but I got like 1,000 books on this thing. It's really cool. But also I've had multiple concussions and some things I don't remember, so I write them down. I am the Makiki mystic. This I know is true. When I look at you, it's a mystic I see. When I look in a mirror, I see a mystic as me. The realization of oneness is my wish for humankind. That we all live in the present moment, one with the divine. Folks, it just takes one. It just takes one to show the way. One to show the way and we'll follow. Because we want some of that. We want the kingdom of heaven. We want our joy of living. And we want it right here and right now because that is where it is. But how do we do that? How do we show the way? By claiming the mystic in us. By claiming it with zelosity because it's the truth. I am a mystic am I. If you are willing to change your life, to transform your life, to live the abundant life, speak this with me with enthusiasm. Together. I am a mystic am I. Now breathe that in. Breathe that truth in. How's it feel? Where I come from, it feels wicked good. Now, to make sure that our subconscious gets this, we're going to say it again, this time with a little more enthusiasm. Together. I am a mystic am I. Folks, it just takes one to show us the way. I invite you to be the one. Listen. Listen. It's the song of spirit. Can you feel the rhythm? Oh, wow. Are you willing to dance the dance of life in the here and now? Hey, what are you waiting for? Get up and dance. Friends, it is finished.